Let's bring in Sky News host and the Daily Telegraph's National Affairs editor, James Morrow. James, thank you for your time. Look, I'm going to get on to the other big stories of the day, but this is so major. I just want to get your reaction to that. These scientists saying one thing in their private discussions and deciding to mislead the world and tell us loudly it was a conspiracy.
Yep, and absolutely, Sherry. Everything you said there was absolutely spot on. And so many people here in Australia and around the world really ought to be absolutely ashamed of themselves, I think, for the way that they politicized the virus, because it became, you recall, this whole big tribal thing. Trump said, oh, it could have come from a lab. And then suddenly the whole thing had to be, it didn't come from a lab. It came from, this Wuhan wet market idea. Now, of course, and I know, and we were all talking about this early on. There's a lab in Wuhan that was doing this kind of work. So how hard was it to imagine that this happened to have made it out of the lab? So that is part of the problem. And the other problem, and I think you really start to hit the nail on the head there, Sherry, is the ongoing problem here is that this has caused such a massive distrust in institutions, in science, in expert advice. And this is really so damaging because it has made everybody, myself included, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, so cynical about what it is, when we're told, oh, no, this is the thing you need to know, this is the thing you don't need to know. And we see it still, Facebook, all of these different outfits are all trying to censor what people say. And this is really, it's very bad for civil society. It's bad for politics.
I agree. If you can't trust leading scientists, who can you trust? It is so damaging. Now, the Treasurer today appointed a new head of the Productivity Commission, Chris Barrett. He'll serve a term of 5 years. He'll try to rectify our long-term slump in productivity. Jim Chalmers fronted the media today. He said that inflation is moderating, but not easing as quickly as the government would like. Have a quick look.
Today, Cabinet has agreed to recommend to the Governor-General that Chris Barrett be appointed the chair of the Productivity Commission for a term of 5 years. Chris's appointment recognises that if we want to build a stronger economy, then we've got to build stronger economic institutions, and that means renewing and refocusing and revitalising the Productivity Commission.
James, what do we know about Chris Barrett, and is he up to the job?
Well, the biggest thing we know about him, Sherry, is that he's Wayne Swan's former chief of staff. You remember him, the world's greatest treasurer. Look, the coalition is absolutely blowing up about this because they say that they weren't consulted about this pick, and I think they're right to be blowing up about this. The Labor has never really loved, shall we say, the Productivity Commission. They've always sort of thought that it was this real sort of, free market, neoliberal sort of organization. And in fact, actually, a number of suggestions of the Productivity Commission have been knocked back by Labor because they say, well, it doesn't meet our values. So that, I think, tells you a lot about what you need to know. But the other thing here, Sherry, that's really, really key to this here is that we are not going to get, they're talking about inflation and interest rates. We're not getting out of that without productivity. And Labor right now seems to be running away from productivity. They're running towards shoving more money into the economy. And these are the things that are going to keep us in this position where we're not going to really get the real growth, the genuine growth, the productive growth that we need to see in the future.
Now, very quickly before you go, James, Stan Grant has permanently now stepped away from presenting the Q&A program at the ABC, this after he was taking some time out in May. It came after the ongoing racist abuse that he received. He's not the only one now to have come out, the only Indigenous Australian to have come out to say that they have been targeted by racist abuse in this debate as the debate around The Voice kicks off. We've also heard from Warren Mundine. This is getting, as we've been saying, but every day it just gets worse.
Well, it's been very, very ugly. And, I just think it's, ridiculous for people on the yes side of the debate to say that, oh, their opponents are being terrible when so many of the yes people have been attacking people like Warren Mundine, Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, and calling them the worst sort of slurs for having opinions that don't go along with their narrative.
Yeah. All right. James Morrow, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.